Awesome. So we got our good friend Mark from the DFW market today. And I just
hit the DFW a lot, Fish.
I know, but I love these guys. I love these guys. It's just I keep going there back and forth. They need to move there. But I just like I love watching Mark, and I know you do loans in more than DFW. And I kind of started following a few years ago, and he wasn't hit the numbers. But man, I looked up his numbers last night. And I'm like, I asked him to be on MLO Net Survivor Series. And then I'm like, I better check his numbers. I'm like, dude, this guy is seriously doing 5 or 6 units purchase every single month, consistent, hitting the 20 mil mark, doing all the things that people say they want to do. And I'm watching his social media. He's going to the gym every day. He's eating great food. He's probably just like you, TJ, doing the kombucha shakes or whatever you call them. I don't even know.
Yeah, I stopped doing that. I decided that just eating like crap and pounding energy drinks was a lot more fun.
Right. But pre-call here, we were talking about, Mark's standing desk and all of his good habits and the things that are allowing him to get to where he's at. And he's been watching some of the Survivor Series. I said, Mark, let's just talk from the perspective of, I took some things away from your business. What could I take away that would make you cry, that you'd say, there's no way in hell I'm taking this away from my business? And I'll just hand it over to you, Mark, and you take it kind of whatever way you want, I guess, buddy.
Well, the quick answer was social media, but the longer answer is really like social media has only become a part of my business really over the last 3 or 4 years. I moved from Maryland, TJ, to you.
What part of Maryland?
The part that I ran away from was Columbia, but it was the entire state. I was licensed in 23 states. I was a refi call center LO. I moved to Texas. I wasn't licensed in Texas. And I decided I'm going to be a referral-based loan officer. And then I realized, like, I don't know what the hell that means, or what value do I bring, or how do I actually get a referral, and what is my piece in all of this, right? On the refi side, it's really easy. You come in, you hit the button, and calls come in. And so I got pretty good on the phone. I got pretty good at structuring debt and advising clients, but I really had no idea how to market myself or how to really attract people to me. And so social media, I literally restarted a Facebook in 2018. And so I'm that weirdo with like 50 friends on my Facebook list that's going around friending people that I literally have no idea who they are, right? Like, I did not exist in the DFW on February 28th of 2018. I got here April of 2018. Between January and March of 2018, I had about 33 closings, all refis. Between April and December of 2018, I had 8 closings. And so that was the massive shift that I needed to go through to really figure out everything about my business and really who I am. That's really when, Michael, you and I connected, right? Back in the what was it? Now I can't even remember. What was the name of the veteran friendly?
Oh, we had MMBC, which was like version
MMBC
before.
Yes.
Yeah, and VMA. Yep. Yeah.
And so social media, I mean, at this point, and it's pretty interesting to see, I don't know if you guys are seeing something similar. I'm seeing my percentage of referrals from agents coming down, and really seeing the direct impact of them no longer being the gatekeepers to the leads. And based on some of the activity I've got on social media, and then especially with Google and just Google SEO, I'm getting a lot more just inbound calls, people that are finding me from I have no idea where, and they're ready to actually proceed. It's not like they're cold leads, like they know who I am, they've been researching me, and they're ready to go. And so if those are the two things that I can't run my business without. But at the same time, there's so many different tools that we have in our tech deck that are crucial, right? And first and foremost, MBS Highway. Like, I cannot go without watching a Barry Habib update every single day. And I've watched an update every single day since 2018. That's really helped me to become the advisor that I am now. I tell my clients all the time on the first call, I'm not a sales guy. I'm here to help you purchase a home. Like, yeah, that's my job, but really it's my job to put you in debt. And so I take that really seriously, and we're going to really approach it like the advisors that we are. And so those are the big things. In 2020, just based off of volume coming in and really not being able to keep up with everybody, I got into Mortgage Coach. And at this point, Mortgage Coach is something that we use every single day. It's the way that we present numbers from the very beginning throughout the entire process. And so I think those three things are absolutely critical to a modern age loan officer thriving instead of just fighting to survive.
So I love that. Yeah, I know we're kind of talking about building your brand, social media starting over again, but I just love that concept of, hey, I'm not a sales guy. So you have the shift right off the bat of what that client is expecting, right? And so right off the bat, they're accustomed to, us, they see boiler room and they think that's what we are. And hey, as a refi guy who used to work in that Columbia, Maryland market where, everybody, every other block was a refi shop type of thing there. So, you get used to that. So that's a big switch. But so you kind of have that flip right there where you're talking to someone, hey, I'm not a refi guy. Put them in the Mortgage Coach. You're giving them, 3 to 4 different options right there. Are you the lowest price guy in town when you're doing all that?
You're never going to be the lowest price guy, right? Like there will always be somebody that undercuts you. I think
so kind of that structure of the question up front and then presenting the facts with Mortgage Coach, you're almost disarming that client. Now, I'm sure you get shocked because we all do, right? But you're changing that perception right off the bat of you're building trust immediately. Then you're giving them the ability, I think Mortgage Coach talks about all the time, the ability to shop without necessarily shopping right off the bat, which allows you just to be a good mortgage advisor.
I think that's absolutely critical. And I think the personal side of our business is really what creates those walls that we try to create around our borrowers so that they don't go shopping. And so I tell my clients on the very first call, I'm 100% referral based. And so the way that I make a living is by giving you the best long-term advice for you and nobody other than you. When I do that, that's when it resonates with my clients. That's where they go tell their friends and family about me. That's really where I make a living. From there, it's really just like the way that my brain works. We need a monthly affordable payment. Guys, I am the first one 95% of the time that's bringing up a monthly payment within the conversation. Everybody's looking for what purchase price can we get? What are your rates? What are you looking at? Nobody's actually focused on the one thing that the consumer actually sees and feels after all of the glitz and glamour is done, and that's that monthly payment, right? And so I always tell my clients, we need to get that monthly affordable payment at the lowest cost with the least out of pocket. I'm a cost averse person, and I would prefer to have you have more money in the bank at the end of this transaction as opposed to taking all of your money. And just from those first 5 minutes of conversation, the barriers come down, the walls come down, and it really allows us to take that seat as that advisor for our clients.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I'm assuming, again, same thing at this point, and we'll listen to you say it. Same structure, same cadence, same conversation, same verbiage, same word track almost every single time, right? You're following your sequence. It's almost like your SOP with that initial contact with the client.
I love that you brought up SOP because it going back to 2020, right? And the boom that we all experienced. I had no SOPs. I didn't know what an SOP was. I couldn't spell SOP. And literally, Michael, you mentioned the production last year, but the reality of the situation is I really didn't prospect last year. I didn't prospect until about November of last year. And that's kind of what gave me some good numbers in the beginning of this year. I was focused on really dialing in all of the systems and allowing myself to creating a platform where we can actually build and sustain $100 million a year business without jeopardizing any of the customer service and attention that we're known for. And so that's really been my focal point these last couple of years. While everybody's really just banging the phones, I'm doing what I need to do to keep up. But at the same time, it's more recently, it's a deal or a lead comes in and it comes out, right? Like there is no friction within the process anymore. And so we have the ability and the capacity to serve 2-3x the amount of consumers that we're helping right now. And so one of the things that I realized last year, one of my epiphanies was because me being a non-SOP and a non-systems person, I had to change my entire mindset. I started with, I need maximum output or maximum input so I can get maximum output, to an SOP mind, which is I need minimum input for maximum output. In today's market with rates around 7%, that is the wrong mentality. And so the mindset right now is, how do we put in the maximum input and be able to generate the maximum output now that we know that we can serve our clients at a 5-star level?
I love it. So,
Yep.
so it sounds like you're getting a lot of referrals and that you're building that into your entire process and making sure that your process is moving smoothly just to actually keep that going. You also mentioned that a lot of people are, they're finding you and you're like, how did this person find me? What kind of things are you doing to get out there and have these people find you? Like when they come back to you, what are they saying or they saw, or where do they find you? Like what kind of content or communities or social are you doing to get that type of client or business coming to you?
There's a lot of different things, but if I could recommend anything for a loan originator right now, is really learn Google Business, learn it inside and out, and really start leveraging it. I noticed, one of the things that I noticed was when we post pictures, especially of homes, that gets us a ton more reach. And so I basically had a VA that went through and got a picture of every single house that we ever financed. And every morning she goes in around 9 a.m. and just posts that picture. And so that in and of itself, it's like the simplest, easiest thing that anybody can do. I think that is actually having a lot more reach and giving myself the opportunity to get eyeballs on me. And then from there, we've got videos, we've got collaborations, we've got a bunch of written content that we have out there, right? And so it's really just priming that algorithm to where we actually start showing up when it actually matters to that client. The difference between Google and Facebook or Instagram or just social media in general, Google, these are high intent leads,
Yep.
right? And so these people are actually in that shopping mode, and then they're finding me. And then from there, they've got different things that they can research about me. The reviews that we have, I've heard it time and time again that this is why I'm reaching out.
So I'm looking at your Google business profile right now, and I've seen a lot of these. This is probably, just from an image perspective, I don't think I've ever seen one that's consistently updated like this.
Right.
So you're almost using your Google business profile. I know you're saying it's, because again, Google's more of intent marketing, Facebook's more billboard marketing, that type of thing. But you're almost leveraging Google in the same way that a lot of us will leverage Facebook, right? You're providing updated content, you're working on the algorithm, putting content on there that if somebody does search, for those of you who don't know, basically Google likes local searches. So if I'm sitting in Bel Air, Maryland, and I Google, first-time homebuyer programs, hopefully I'm going to come up, right? If I'm sitting in the DFW and I, Google, whatever, right? First-time homebuyer programs, how to buy a home in the DFW.
It doesn't even have to be that complicated. It could just be mortgage advisors.
Yep. So,
right? That is one of the most Googled terms, is mortgage lenders near me,
yep.
Right?
And the thing is, most people rely straight on reviews. The thought is, I get more reviews, I'm going to pop up. And honestly, most of the time you will. But if you're combining consistent content updates plus reviews, dude, that's huge, man. I love that. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. So it's great. Yeah. And then, as you said, then that's a lot more of and that's less worrying about, I got to post content to a website. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. You're having a VA update your Google business profile, right? And it's driving clients to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then more recently, I've had a couple of agents ask me to kind of help them in doing their market updates. And so they're posting those on YouTube and creating clips out of that for YouTube Shorts and for IG Reels and TikTok. And so everything is starting to work together and just creating that momentum, right? Like that is what we're all looking for, is that momentum. And so having brought that up, like that is one of the most critical things for somebody that is fighting to survive right now, It's really, you need to just create these daily habits and daily disciplines, because you look back over time and you realize, holy crap, I've got all of this momentum. It is that much easier for you to make that next phone call, for you to make that next post, for you to actually record that next video, because you've got that momentum, and it's a completely different mindset that you're in. And so I noticed myself in 2022 really taking a back seat and kind of taking a step back. And all of a sudden it was like my leads started coming down, my applications started coming down, everything started coming down. I was like, no, that's the last thing we need. We need to lean in right now. We're living in the most uncertain time of all of our lives, right? Like I was in high school in 2008, but the amount of stuff and like the inbound traffic that's going into all of us, including our consumers, it is overwhelming, right? And so we need to figure out ways where we can be the professionals that we need to be, and actually separate the noise, cut right through it, and actually get to the bottom of what is going on, right? Like that is how you go out and you serve your community. And one of the most profound thoughts and kind of life changes that I ever went through was realizing, like, who am I am basically stealing from the people I care about by me not showing up as myself, right? Yep. And so if you look at my social media, it's a lot less just mortgage. It's really, how do I feed into the people that I care about? And when I do that, the algorithms reward me. And when I do that, then people start to reach back out to me. So that would be my best advice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's like life coach advice, like mortgage coach advice, all these kind of things wrapped up into one. To me, it seems like you're ready to retire at age 35, Mark. I mean, are you going to make it to 40, or are you going to retire in 5 years? I mean, holy cow, you're on a roll, buddy.
I got to build 100 million a year, just personal. And then we got to hit 1 billion as a branch. And so I've got a long way to go before retirement speak.
It's good though. It's good to have that some people call it a stretch goal. Some people just call it their goal, but either way, you got that vision there. It's realistic. You know, you don't even have to 10x it. You can like 4x it and you'll be there. So that's great, dude. That's great.
The question is, so what's funny about it all is literally like 2018, 2019, I couldn't wrap my mind around how an originator could do 100 million. And it wasn't until a lot of coaching and really a lot of consuming from the best originators in the country that I realized in 2020, not only is it doable, but in my head in 2020, I said, I'm going to do it by 2030. Going into 2021, I said, there's no reason that I can't do it by 2025. And so that's where the shift came. And it was, I've always been an agent of chaos. Like I thrive under anarchy, but I can't get to 100 million by being that person and by living that life. And so that's where a lot of the structure, the systems, the processes came into play, to where now it's really my loan partner. She handles, once an application comes in, that's her file from start to finish. I no longer believe in handoffs. I just have one loan partner. She and I work together with all of our clients. And we know for a fact that it's really around that 12 unit a month mark where we start to really stretch thin and we start to drop some balls. And so the systems we have in place right now, once we max out that 12 to 15 units a month, we basically just plug in a second loan partner, right? And now we can serve the next 12 to 15 clients. And once we max that out, we can just plug in another loan partner and we can get another 12 to 15 units. And so when you start to think about it through that mentality, and we all know, like, where do all the balls get dropped? It's at the handoff, right? We've perfected that handoff. And so now we're going to be able to leverage that in our process to really go to where we want to go.
I like it, man. So you mentioned, this could turn horribly wrong, and we're going to cut off in just a couple minutes here. We try to keep these a little short, but you mentioned—
Man, that's a segue if I've ever heard one, Fish. Right? That was awesome.
Going terribly wrong. So you mentioned a lot of people coach you along the way, and I have no clue where this is going to go. But which coaches helped you that you felt really made a difference and help you kind of clarify your path?
Man, there's been so many. Scott Groves was my first coach. 2018, 2019. Love that guy. He and I, libertarians, we see eye to eye. So he's always fun to be around. I started coaching with Kai in 2020. That was the beginning of the systems and processes, Mark. Right now, I'm in Apex with Ryan Stewman, who you, I think, know from years past. And so I realized I'm in so many different groups. I'm in Next Level. And so I love what we do. I'm obsessed with this shit. And so it's all consuming, right? Like I do not have, it's funny, I now have a work-life balance. It's just in my life, it's just all I do is work out and like eat and just take care of myself. But besides that, it's literally just mortgage and real estate.
I like it though. You and I have that in common. I've tried every coaching program under the sun. I bought every book under the sun. Most of them I've read at least a chapter. And, you know, constantly, I've said this in other calls, just filling yourself with knowledge, surrounding yourself with people that are thinking at a higher level. Even if you're not the smartest person in the room, you can become that person by surrounding yourself with those people over and over again. And even if you're a slow learner, you eventually, by putting yourself in those situations, are just forcing yourself to level up. So it's great stuff.
And I want to bring back what we said off air, which is we can take all of this great content in, but if we don't actually apply it, then it's useless. Like knowledge unapplied is garbage, right? And so one of the things that I credit any success that I've had is really just my inability to care about me failing. And so like fail forward, fail quickly, fail often. That's how I've gotten to where I am. And so really, that's how I got started with video. And I think I actually want to bring this up as a tip for anybody that isn't doing video right now. I was terrified of doing video. One of my eyes is smaller than my other eye. All I see when I look at myself on a picture is just that difference, right? Like we all have these little things that we care about. The reality is nobody else sees it, nobody else cares. So how did I get over it? Literally what I would do is I would get my little tripod stand and put my phone on it. And as I'm going through the day, I would just turn on the camera, not even hit record. But as I'm looking at my different screens and I'm going throughout my day, I see myself on camera. And so it completely desensitized me to all of it, to the point where I can now just turn on a camera, I can hop on a call like this, and I am myself, right? I always get told by people that meet me on social media, like, you're exactly who you are in person as you are on social media. Yeah, that's who I am. I
think that's a huge tip right there. And I think a lot of people have missed that. They try to build a persona of who they want to be perceived as. But when you actually speak to someone, get to meet someone, whether it's Zoom or in person, if they're two different people, instant distrust. Right off the bat, instant distrust. The relationship's not going to evolve from there.
You're absolutely right. And I don't know what it is, but like we all have this psychological thing where we just don't like it, right? Get over it. Just start recording, hit record, like Jake Failing always says. And what I did in the beginning is I would just record. I didn't even post it. And when I did start posting it, I don't know if you guys saw, we have these agent playbooks behind me that we give to our agents. And the first month I started getting them was March 2020, the month the world shut down. And so I get 100 playbooks mailed to me and I'm like, great, I'm never going to speak to a realtor ever again. And so we started mailing them out. But my first video that I posted was just me walking through that playbook.
That's cool.
And I'm blushing. I'm like afraid to look at the camera. My eyes are going all over the place. And it's just awkward and cringy. But at the same time, like that video has gotten me at least 5 or 6 new relationships with agents, right? And what's the funniest part of all of it is I think me commenting on it a couple of weeks ago, it took it from like 25 views to like 70 views. If I post a video right now and it doesn't get like hundreds of views, like I'm pissed off. But that cringy video from 2020, that has gotten me more business than any of the like more viral videos that I've put out. So awesome, just record it and post it.
And we all worry so much, right? But the thing, like my advice to everyone is like, if Fisher and I can do video as long as we have, as awkward as we are, and we've done so many videos together, and yet we still speak over
And
each
you're
other,
awkward.
right? So,
Super awkward.
yep.
Super awkward.
Yeah, but it gets done, right? It gets done, and you're your hardest critic. So one of the things that I have learned over the years is, especially with something like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, if we're utilizing it for business, you got to stop caring what people think, right? Put the content out there, be consistent with it, let it grow, and people will find you just like you're doing, just like you've done with Google, right? That consistency. And I mean, I truly believe that there's no better time than where we are today to be able to quickly ramp up that marketing. So quickly ramp up that social media marketing, that Google marketing, whatever it is, to where what used to take you 2 years to do, you can accomplish in 3 to 6 months if you have an SOP, if you're consistent, if you're putting it out there. And again, the fear is always like, oh my God, what's the person who my kids go to school with, the mom and dad, what are they going to think if they see this video that I just posted?
Who cares?
Right? You want to make money, right? Are they going to pay you?
Yeah.
They're going to pay you if they do business with you, right?
Right.
So, all right, man. So last question, we're coming up to the 30-minute mark. It's what we wrap up with all the time. You decide to, well, you're from Maryland. You head to Michigan, right? You're starting over again. Third time. What are you doing in those first 90 days to get back on your feet?
That's a great question, because it's something that I just went through, right? A couple of years ago. And so what I would do is very similar to what I did before, which is get yourself out there. One of the best ways to get yourself out there is teaching classes. And one of the best ways to actually get people in those seats is partnering up with the title reps. That's really what I did, is I made really good relationships with the business developers, with the escrow officers. And I said, hey, you guys need to bring value to your agents. And hey, I've got this deck of classes, marketing centric, that are going to be guaranteed to really help you stand out for your agents. And let's do these classes. And so that's the first thing that I would do, is get at least one class a month scheduled for those first 90 days. One of the best things I did in 2019 was I did an 8-week boot camp where we did one class every Wednesday for 8 weeks. From there, I got literally 300 agent contacts that I had no idea who they were, right? At first, I got caught up in the, like we all do early on in our career, of not knowing that a lot of agents put out this persona and brand, but they're not actually closing any deals. And so I was working with the wrong people. I was chasing the wrong people. I was attracting the wrong people. And so I would very much stick with the classes, but instead of focusing it for new agents, I would really focus it on the ones that already have an established book of business, that really want to pour some gasoline on the fire and set that rocket ship off.
So would you go after the whales, or are you looking for those people who are doing, like 6 to 10 to 12 transactions per year?
The latter. I think the whales are really important for you to actually meet and build relationships and build rapport with, because they're the influence makers for everybody underneath them. And so you're probably, as the new guy on the block, you're not going to get that whale's business, and you shouldn't, frankly, but you can bring them value. You can make yourself respectable in their eyes, and that can facilitate a lot of referrals from them to other agents and just other people, right? It may not be their personal production, but they know who you are. They're starting to like who you are and trust who you are. They're gonna keep you in mind. They're gonna refer you.
Awesome, man. Great stuff. So, all right, Fish, I'll let you wrap it up here, but a couple things just to add on here. Mark, great points. So if you're looking to learn a little bit more about what he does, some MLO net approved folks, obviously Scott Groves right there. Classes, check out John Thomas. Google, Hammer Helmer is our guy right there. Am I missing anyone there, Fish?
Systems, Kai's got another webinar coming up here soon.
Yep.
So put some info out about that. So yeah, I mean, literally Mortgage Coach, MBS Highway. I mean, we didn't talk before this call. And you
Right.
just threw out all of our favorite people
Right.
without prompting at all.
I like VMA too, just in case
Yeah.
anyone's wondering. I'm a big VMA fan.
Well, I think so. I started in the VA only side of the business, right? So like I have a huge heart and passion for our veterans. I didn't serve. I'm an immigrant myself, but working with veterans, they're my favorite Americans, and so they are one of the most underserved. Yet they are.
Oh, it's going so smooth,
He was
TJ.
rocking it right there
He's
too.
totally rocking it.
Yeah. So we're
Completely
just
rocking.
so well. Oh,
I could hear you guys talking about how I was rocking it.
yeah.
We as originators have a massive role to play for our veteran community. There's a ton of discrimination out there in every single market.
Good times.
All right. Well,
Nope.
on
I'm
that
just
note,
on that note, we'll have more calls. You're going to see some announcements. Kai's got a series coming up. I might have a VMA series coming up. We're going to try to do 2 times a week for MLO Net Survivor, but we might end up doing one just because.
I think what we're doing is we're going to do one where we're
Yeah.
bringing a guest on, and then
Right.
we're going to do one where you and I are sharing content that we've learned, whether it's from VMA, Leeds Academy, stuff that we picked up from our various interactions with some, our high performing loan officer friends on here. Again, as we're coming to this spring season, at this point, we want to make sure that everyone's out there prospecting, originating, building the business, growing their business at this point. So we'll probably do one official Survivor series per week, and then an unofficial Fish and I hopping on, sharing just some killer content with you as well.
Some shorter calls. Either way, we appreciate you guys. Thank you
Yep.
for sharing this with your teams. Thank you for interacting in MLO Net. We will see you in the communities, and we'll talk at you later or sooner.